living that full life, seeing all the sights, riding to our fingertips.
Hey, this is Heather Callan, MotoWomen 24/7. I am here with my partner,
Jannine Jessup.
We are at TMMR 2024. If you don't know, that is Tennessee Motorcycle and Music Revival. And it's gonna be a beautiful day. It's kind of sketchy right now, so we're making do with what we got.
We are in a trailer with motorcycles. I can think of worse places we could be.
Right, absolutely. So it's been a minute. It's been about a month since we've done an episode. What have you been up to?
Gosh, girl, everything. We've been on the road a lot, which is, seems to be our life. Same for you.
Yeah, we've got a ton of stuff going on. We totally intentionally, unintentionally are Twinkies again today.
But super intentionally for today.
Yeah, super intentional. So today, if you haven't been paying attention, is our inaugural Lunch Lady Ride at Tennessee. And Miss Jannine has done an outstanding job pulling this together while I've had my ass on fire doing a million and two things. By the time we air this, I will have moved from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania to Mitchell, South Dakota, while all of this is going on.
She's a rock star, don't let her fool you. And she's putting out a magazine, and she's doing all this shit.
She's totally full of shit.
Not that.
But you guys have had your first drag event.
We had our first drag event. The day before that, that was a really busy weekend. We had our 3rd anniversary party for the Tennessee location. So we had a party on site at our shop. And then on Sunday, we had our first drag event, which was really, really well received. Lots of people came out, and I think that will just grow and grow and grow. We did bracket racing style this last time. I think this next one's going to be more grudge match, which is really my favorite, because you get a chance to call your friends out and get them out there and have a good time. So,
that's awesome.
Yes.
So I'm going to circle back real quick to Lunch Lady Ride. If you don't know what that is, we are raising money for kids who may not have school lunch paid for in their community, or may not have the option of having lunch provided to them at home during the summer months. And we just don't think that's acceptable. No child should go hungry for any reason. And if we can contribute a little bit to that.
Absolutely. And it'll be in every community that we do an event at. We'll do this ride, and we'll raise money for that community.
Yeah, so our next event will be in Sturgis, South Dakota.
Yes, ma'am.
Followed by Smokeout. Yes. And then we may have 1 or 2 more here and there. We're going to work on it. But anyway, so today our interview subject is going to be...
I'm super excited. It's going to be a good show.
I know. It is going to be Miss Missi DeBord.
Yes, ma'am.
Who I've known for a long time, and Jannine is just starting to get to know. So
yes.
This is going to be a really good process for everybody. But hang on tight. We're going to bring in Missy. This beautiful woman in between us. This is Missi DeBord. I've known Missy, I think the first time we ever met was actually at my wedding.
Yes.
Because she was working with Michael Lichter's. So that was 9 years ago. She was Michael Lichter's apprentice, and we've just become dear. Like, she's one of my best friends on the entire planet. Actually, these 2 women right here are my best friends on the entire planet, period. Like, they are my ride or dies, my soul sisters. So we're happy to I'm so happy to have her here. I'm happy to let Jannine get to know her a little bit
I'm excited,
better.
yes. Like, we've had opportunity to talk and hang out at events, but we really never had an opportunity to talk, especially about motorcycles. And from what I hear, you have quite a story, a little backstory of how you learned to ride. So I'm I'm really just looking forward to getting to know you a little bit better. And I think your story is going to be relevant to a lot of people out there. Yeah. And I think real women need to hear real stories.
Yes.
So, yeah.
So let's start right there. Let's start with how you learned to ride.
Oh gosh. So
because I know it was a hard story. Like, it wasn't easy.
Story. So my my first husband had a Hellbound steel chopper that we rode on together. He hated the suction cup seat, and he just kept telling me, "You need to ride your own bike. I'm getting you your own bike. I'm getting your own bike." And I was just like, nope. I don't want to learn to ride. And there was more reasons than just, I liked being the passenger. She was abusive, whenever I learned to do anything, it was a struggle of, if I screw up, like, what is it going to say? What is it going to do? So I just really, really didn't want to learn. Like I didn't want to do it.
You were
And
fearful of the
that's hard.
consequences of learning.
Yeah.
And I mean, having the courage to learn in the first place is a lot, because it's even when you want to, it's a scary proposition.
It really is. And but on the other hand, he helped me up. Like he's like, you can do it. Like he's like, you know, you drive a dump truck, you haul heavy equipment, you can, you know, you pull a dozer onto that trailer, you do the back, like, you know, he's like, I don't even know why you think you can't do it. So one day we had a semi for sale, and he traded it to his buddy for an 03 Ultra Classic, full on,
Like
big
full
ass
dresser.
bagger, like full dresser.
That's
And
a
back
big bike.
then,
That is a big
they
bike.
were big
And
like,
heavy.
And
That's
you
like
know,
an 800-pound motorcycle.
Oh yeah, and I couldn't touch the ground flat-footed. Like I was tippy-toed on it. And we got on it one day. We drive down to the high school. He gets off and he says, "Okay, ride it." And that's how I learned to ride.
Really?
That was it. And I had been passenger. Like I started riding behind him when I was still in high school. Like, you know, we were friends. And so like I had been passenger a lot, you know, 180 mile an hour on the you know, Ninja. You know.
No, thank you.
No, yeah,
As a
no.
backpack, no
Although
ma'am.
I'm not gonna
Wheelies.
lie, we were on the highway yesterday and Chris hit 102, and I was like, hell yeah! But it was
Exactly.
such a smooth power on that CVO. It was crazy.
You can get 102 and not even
Oh,
realize you're
you
doing
didn't even
it.
realize it.
Yeah.
Didn't
Yeah.
even realize it.
You know, but you know, back then I was, you know, 18 years old and 180, you know, I was like, how'd that feel? I was like, oh yeah.
I really like that.
But you
That's
know,
good.
so like I'd been enough miles as a good passenger, you know, and so I
Did you
just
have
figured
any
I'd just do it.
experience on like dirt bikes or mini bikes or anything?
Our kids had like a little tiny mini bike that I'd rode around the yard a couple
So at this point, you
times.
already had children.
Yeah.
Okay.
And yeah, that was 2005. So I mean, I was, you know, I was fully grown.
I love you. You was a grown-ass woman.
I was grown.
Grown-ass
And,
woman.
But I mean, we had four-wheelers, so I mean, I knew the clutch.
Okay.
Like, you know, like from the four wheels. And that's my advice. Like people ask me all the time, like about learning to ride, and I'm like, go get a beat-up four-wheeler and learn the clutch, like, cause it's all muscle memory. Like, you
Correct.
know. So you get that clutch, and yeah, the throttle on the four-wheelers come, but you still get the idea. You get the feel of that.
And you're
clutch.
still having two operations.
Yeah.
Your right hand's doing one thing and your left hand's doing another.
One of the things that I'm struggling with, and it's funny, and I finally made the correlation, like, I want to ride so bad. But, and everybody's like, well, you ride a bicycle, don't you? I really don't. Like, I didn't grow up riding bicycles. Like, and I hate to, and every time I say something like this, my mother's like, you make it sound like we neglected you. My parents did not neglect me. I had a fantastic childhood, but my siblings were 10 years older than I am.
So you
So
didn't
I
have
didn't
anybody-
have,
yeah.
I didn't have anybody to, and where I lived, you weren't riding bicycles, you know what I mean? Not on, I lived in the country, but that main road, you weren't riding a bicycle as a kid down there. It just didn't happen because you were gonna get killed.
Right.
Yeah.
So I don't even really have that experience. So like I noticed today I rode Jannine's little electric bicycle and I'm like, and I did it and I was fine, but I could not believe how nervous I was. It was ridiculous. Like it was almost, for me, it almost seemed unnatural. And I did okay until I got here.
I wish we had
Until I
got it on
parked
video, because I'm going to tell you, I have done that at least a handful of times, and on a motorcycle, not on an
Literally
electric
trying to
bike.
put the kickstand down, and apparently I grabbed the throttle.
She
I
didn't
wasn't
put it in
even on
neutral
it.
yet and grab the throttle. So yeah, you tried to chase it, right? Then she's trying to stop it. I was like, let it go. Just let it go.
Such an idiot. But
No,
so
it's part of learning.
how long did it take you to learn to ride?
So I did decent in the parking lot that day.
That day.
That day. And
Right.
then
Hey.
and then I just started riding it to work every day. Like, and which is funny because most people like don't want to ride on the interstate.
Yeah.
Well, on that bike, I didn't want to ride on the side streets because it would I had
Because you had to stop.
That's that is very true. And you have to change gears and you have to do all those things. On the highway, you just get to go.
And it wasn't so much about the changing gears. It was the fact that that bike was just so, like, I couldn't sit flat-footed on it. And I did a lot of alone riding. Had to be at work by 6:30. So I'd ride to work in the morning on the interstate. I got off work at 3:30, and I would take all the country roads home. And I would just, I would learn the curves, and I just did it on my own. I had
that's awesome.
a passenger in us, so I knew the lead, and I knew the,
Yeah.
But it was a learning curve. Oh shit, that was too fast for that left-hand curve. You're just
Whoopsie.
But, the next time I went that road, I didn't, I did it better. And my first group ride was with a group of friends, and I felt bad because I was so slow. We went down in Indiana. The only place that really has twisty roads is Brown County, southern Indiana. And so that's where everybody would take off to go.
Okay.
And so we, friends are going to work, going to Nashville, let's go. And I was like, okay, I'll go. And, I felt bad. I was a mile behind them, on these winding roads. And I was just like, you guys just go and, don't worry about me and I'll catch up, And we'd get to a stop sign and they'd stop and they'd stop. And I'd eventually get there and then they'd go again and,
That's how you do it. Yeah. And then each time you got better.
I got better.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
And then got divorced, and he gave the motorcycle away. And
You were probably sadder about that.
yeah, I was really mad.
You lost 800 pounds in the divorce.
Yeah, I was really mad. But then I got together with who would eventually be my second husband, and he built me a bike, built me a Softail, and I rode the hell out of that. And that bike made me a better rider because I was comfortable on that bike. It was built for me. I sat in it instead of on top of it.
You weren't tippy-toeing every stop.
And I just, it really made me a good rider. And I rode it for 5 years, and then I got my Street Glide. That was my graduation present. And then I rode to Sturgis all by myself.
That's rad.
Really?
Several years in a row.
Wow. That's amazing.
How many miles is from home to Sturgis?
At the time, I lived in Missouri, and it was right at 1,200 miles.
That's a lot of mileage
That's a
to do
lot
by
of
yourself.
miles.
Yeah.
It was the best 3 days, of the year.
You looked forward to it.
And I miss it. There's days I miss that Street Glide with that. I carry too much gear now.
Right.
So what
Yeah,
do you
her
currently
gear
ride? What's your
bag.
current bike right now?
My current bike is a custom-built Softail bobber
Okay.
that I built 80% of.
That's great.
I have my second husband, and I built it. He did all the things that I couldn't do. Listed the motor in, he did the wiring. I touched everything. I touched every bolt on it. I soldered some wire together, not my forte. I even did some spot welding. I handmade the Missi bar. My color scheme, this is what I want it to look like, and this is what
This was your bike.
Yeah.
What was
Or
your
is your bike?
What was your takeaway from that process of being so hands-on with it?
It was absolutely amazing. And when I made that sissy bar, he welded the tabs onto the welding table, and then I had a straight rod, and we're like, okay, it's got to go this way. So we, he's like,
You made a jig, yep.
yeah, and heated the metal and bent it, and I was just like, ah,
Felt so
it was-
strong.
It was like, I understand why people do this. It was just the best feeling in the world. Just to bend that metal. I don't.
I get it.
So, and I know a little bit about your history, and like I said before, we can take this out, we can not talk about it, we can whatever. I know, and we won't name any names or whatever, but I know your first husband rode with a club.
So actually, it was my second.
Your second husband rode with a club. Okay.
Yes.
How, as a woman rider, riding with a club, did that affect you at all? How,
So by that time, I hadn't done the Sturgis rides yet. So I had, time in the seat.
Okay.
But I wasn't as seasoned, at that time. I'm not gonna lie, riding with the club was thrilling.
really?
It was thrilling. I don't even know. I guess the bad boy thing. I mean, I don't really know.
I'm certain
about-
that definitely leads into some of that the thrill of the moment.
I mean, it's just, the organization of how they ride and their confidence, like it, I could just soak that in.
So do you think that experience made you a better group rider?
Definitely. And I did Patriot Guard, you know, and that made, you know, that helps with the group riding.
Some people might not know what Patriot
I don't know
Guard
what that is.
So
Okay,
why don't you
so
tell us?
Patriot Guard is started out back when we were out of war doing the over Iraq
Like,
and
okay.
you know, war, and there was some bad church people from Oklahoma that would protest the funerals when they would
of the
say
soldiers.
would come home,
Wow.
you know. And so the
Good
Patriot Guard
Christians, you know.
founded, and they would make a wall
Sorry.
and block. They would block those protesters from the family.
That's awesome.
Like they would stand in a flag line
I mean, like, you're not going to see this or be exposed to that.
and block. And so I went to several funerals where fortunately, I never had to endure one.
We've got a furry visitor.
Sweetheart.
I never had to endure one where we had protesters.
That's good.
We don't know who this is, but
You know, we're at a campground, and he made a special delivery here.
He just wanted to be on camera.
That's right.
Or she. I don't
He or she,
I don't know.
you majestic creature, you.
see. Being told.
Apparently, it's definitely a he.
So, a typical man style had to come in and squat right in the middle. I'm kidding. I'm teasing.
This is awesome.
It is awesome.
But so the Patriot Guard would stand between the protesters and the family and a flag line and honor the.
Is that something? Obviously, probably that's not as big of an issue anymore because we're not at war or whatever.
But they
still
still
serve a
do.
purpose and help people.
They still do.
Kind of reminds me of Bikers Against Bullies in a way.
Yeah,
You know, serving the
exactly.
community. That's
And,
cool.
And now they do firefighters and policemen and
First responders, that's awesome.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, and you escort to the funeral, from funeral homes to the graveyard and fun.
That's
Do you miss
great.
doing that?
I do miss doing that, and unfortunately, with my job schedule,
We're about to get another furry visitor
have-
here.
Oh,
I haven't
hi,
been
sweetheart.
able-
Come on.
to do it since I moved back to Indiana. When I moved to Missouri, it wasn't as prominent in Missouri.
Yeah.
But when I moved, since I moved back to Indiana, I haven't had the opportunity to do it, but I do miss it.
Excuse me, sir. Can you at least lay down?
Right.
Lay down.
I don't know who you are, but
Are you
you're
itchy?
beautiful.
Man, they don't.
I was like, no.
Yeah, no.
I'm not gonna listen to you.
That's okay.
Hi, look. Like, we apparently, like I said, the show isn't just for women.
No. It's dogs alike, especially big
Dog-friendly.
German
We're
shepherds.
dog friendly. We like dogs more than most people. So, we're going to back up or fast forward. Like I said at the beginning, I met you at my wedding.
Yeah.
Because you were Michael Lichter's apprentice.
Yeah.
Bye,
Tell us
buddy.
about that.
I absolutely loved working for Michael Richter. And I met Michael, back up. So I decided that I wanted a new career.
Okay.
And so
How old were you?
It was the year, I was 40, because it was 2010. So I turned 40 in December of 69.
And you have to pardon me. What was your life before doing photography? What were you doing? Like retail, or were you
so
a
I
manager?
worked at a big truck dealership.
Okay.
Service truck.
Because you had mentioned dozers and things like that.
Yeah,
so
yeah. So at that time I was working at a big,
Now he has his
big
ball.
truck dealership, as service advisor.
Okay.
And I decided I wanted a career change, and so I started going to college. And in 2010, we went to Sturgis for vacation.
Oh.
And with the club.
Okay.
And so we were walking around LaSalle, and actually just outside of the Broken Spoke, well, you know, because it was still
Yeah.
in town then. And
They're part of the pack now. We're part of the pack now.
Hi. This is what happens when you do impromptu shows whenever and wherever
That's
you can.
it.
It's all good. It is what
as long
it
as he
is.
doesn't knock over the camera.
Or
we're
pee
good.
on something.
Right?
So I decided I was gonna go to school for photography.
Okay.
'Cause I've been into photography since I was like old enough to hold the camera. Like,
Okay.
you know, and like I don't even know how many hundreds of dollars my parents probably spent on stupid developing the pictures of the neighbors' houses with their flowers and their trees, and
Is that when you were introduced to Michael Lichter's gallery in
that is
Sturgis?
definitely
Motorcycles
So
with Art?
I saw his stuff. Actually, it wasn't at Motorcycles with Art. It was there was like a tent set up on Moselle,
All right.
and it was on display there, like for sale.
That's hard to picture Lichter having a tent.
Yeah,
set
I
up.
know, right? And so we were walking by, and I was like, stop, wait a minute, what is this? I'm like, it's motorcycles, it's photography, and it's art. And I was just so
You're like,
enthralled.
oh, I'm in.
And so when I went to college, every time I had to do a report on a person, because they're always like, oh, you have to pick someone in the field and study this and study that, and I always just did Michael Lichter. I probably know more about him than he does.
Little stalker action. That's
So like all through college, like my professor was really excited. I was the first person that wanted to do motorcycle stuff, and he encouraged me a lot. I didn't do internship because obviously I was old and I didn't need to learn how to go have a job. So we did independent study for me instead.
oh, that's great.
And he's like, let's recreate some of this stuff that your guy Michael Lichter does. And so like, he helped me set up the studio.
That's
I got
awesome.
the motorcycles into school inside the studio.
Oh, that would have been fun.
It was so awesome pushing motorcycles. There's this little shovel head down
I
down the
love
hallway.
it.
So great.
Talk about feeling powerful, right?
Oh yeah. And it was awesome. And then it was coming up like just before the year I graduated, and I saw an advertisement where Michael was going to be at the Easy Riders show in Columbus, Ohio. So I was like,
I'm going.
I sent him an email. I went onto his website, and it's just the generic info at lichterphoto.com. Sent him an email. I was like, hey, I'm a student and I love your work. You've inspired me all through my college, and I would love to come and watch.
Right.
I want to come and watch your work. So like within 2 hours, he emailed me back, and I was just flabbergasted. And he's like, well, I always say yes to these, and you're not going to watch. I'm going to pay you to work. And I was like, that's
Excellent.
even better. Like, I was so
That's
excited.
awesome.
And I was like, well, and by the time came around for it, I was in my portfolio class. And with that class, we had to interview 3 people in our profession. And so I had asked him if I could interview him for that.
Right.
He's like, yeah. So I went to Columbus, Ohio. I spent, my gas money. I got my hotel room. This is about 2.5 hours for Indy. And I sat down with him. I picked him up at the hotel. Him and his assistant.
Michael's always mooching a ride
Oh
from
yeah,
somebody.
he is for sure. And I picked him up at the hotel, and I was like, that's the first time I met him. Like, I'm picking up some random guy and his assistant at the hotel, and he just treated me so amazing. Like, he introduced me I met Paul Yaffe. I mean, I'm just all the big builders at this time.
You must have been in here glorying.
Oh gosh, it was so awesome. I met Dan and Leah, and I just, it was just amazing. And to watch him work, and like I literally sat in the studio, set up. I don't know if you've ever seen his studio.
I have only seen. We actually went to a show in Sacramento. I'm trying to remember the name of it. It was I don't think it was an Easy Rider show, but he had a whole studio set up in the middle of the show.
Okay,
He actually
probably
shot
was
one
Easy
of.
Rider.
Probably
It might have
Easy
been
Rider, so.
one of John's bikes was being shot for that. And ironically enough, our daughter at the time was interested, and she went up and asked him, and he did this. He brought her in, was telling her all this. So yes, I have seen the setup. It's quite a setup.
He's very open to help, to learn, teaching. And he was so impressed with me though, like with my attention to detail. Like, I wiped the bikes down before they went in, and he's just like, he called me a couple weeks later, and he's like, do you know anybody that's as good as you that can assist me in Daytona? And I was like, man, I wish I could go to Daytona, but there's no way I could schedule off work and this and that. And I was like, I don't know anybody in Florida. He's like, okay. I was like, I'd be interested in Sturgis with you though. And he's like, okay. And so I started working for Michael Lichter at that point on.
That's awesome.
And-
Now, how long did you work with him? Do you still work with him?
I don't work with him anymore. I was working with him up until the Easy Riders show stopped.
Right.
And then he brought Sean, his son Sean, in to be his assistant, and he took over the traveling. I did
Okay.
his traveling assistant.
Okay.
So he had a studio assistant, and then I was the traveling assistant. And so Sean started doing all the traveling with them. And then, but yeah, I picked that thing up with the Cycle Source.
That's
that
so
was
awesome.
We
that
stole.
was the
I like to
perfect-
say we stole her from Michael.
So what year was that? What year did Missy
Oh
come on?
gosh, I don't
at
even
Cycle
know.
Source?
2018.
So it's
2018
been
maybe?
6 years you've been shooting.
Yeah.
Now, do you shoot specifically for Cycle Source?
I don't shoot.
She can shoot for
exclusively.
Okay, I guess that's
Anybody?
what I was trying. Yeah,
Yeah.
exclusively.
I
She
mostly
yeah.
shoot for Cycle Source.
Right.
So how do you think motorcycles changed your life?
Motorcycles changed my life in a big way, and I will tell you, as much as I look back at how much my first husband was such a
Dick.
I'm gonna say douchebag.
I'm trying to
I'm
be
sorry.
nice because
No,
my
hey.
granddaughter might see this. And
Oh,
but yeah,
sorry.
it's
It's her
But
papa.
here's the. it
Well,
is
he's
her
probably a
papa,
different person for
but-
her than
And,
he was for you.
Sorry.
As much as he killed my self-esteem and everything else, in some ways he did build it up, and that's so contradictory and weird, I know. But without that confidence, I think of him making me ride that motorcycle is totally what helped me leave. And I don't know if that, it's just weird, because it's something I didn't want to do, but I loved motorcycles so much. I mean, when I was probably 6, my dad had this Honda, what did Chris call it?
I don't know.
It's something. I have this picture, and my dad put wood blocks on the back so I could ride with him.
That's awesome.
And that was the coolest thing in the world. And and whenever I could, in high school, that's when crotch rockets became a thing. Whenever I could get on the back of somebody, I had a boyfriend that guys would be hanging out at the park on their bikes, and I'd be like, I want to ride, and they're like, okay. I'd be like, see you later, Ron.
I'm out.
I'm out. I'll be back later.
Right?
I don't know
Sometime.
where we're going, but I'm going. I love riding, and so, getting that push to actually do it on my own, I don't know, it's given me the confidence, and motorcycling has changed my life in so many ways because I've met so many wonderful people, and that's the best part about this industry. We're at an event now that I come to, and I get paid to be here, and I'm working my butt off, but I'm here with all my friends, and you just can't, you just can't beat that.
You don't find that in a lot
No,
of professions
not at
or
all.
industries
Yep.
that you the thing you love to do as a hobby is also the way that you earn your living or supplement your living,
Yes.
because you don't do photography full time. You also
No.
have a full time job.
I have a full-time job.
Right.
So I had a plan to do this full-time, and then 2020 happens.
Thanks, COVID.
Because we had
Yeah, we were busy.
We were busy. The magazine had rallies scheduled just about every 2 weeks, and it was going to be a big year.
Yep.
I was going to live on the road. I was
Yep.
there, and we went to Daytona, and then
Literally. the
Then
world
it
shut
petered out.
down.
Nothing happened. Yeah.
yeah,
No, literally, we were in Daytona the day the world shut down.
yeah.
It was crazy.
was
I
crazy.
remember it. And we're watching the news, there's no toilet paper, there's no this or that, and we're like,
What is
What?
wrong with people? Yeah.
Because
completely oblivious because we're with our motorcycle people.
Right.
But there's 300,000 people here. What are you guys talking about?
Right. And we're all fine. Nobody's dying.
So you said how motorcycle changed your life. How did Michael change your life?
Michael changed my life a lot.
Hey, Dawn.
Again, he introduced me to a world that, without Michael, I would have never been able to step into this world. I would have never. I don't think I would have ever. I don't know. Fate maybe would have pushed me here some way or another, but I don't see how.
Right.
Without
Well-
without taking that step of contacting Michael Lichter, I owe him all of this, and then I owe Chris and Heather.
Well, you also yourself. You put in a lot of work. You still
know,
put in a
I
lot
do.
of work.
And I
Every
do.
time I
And I
see
do.
you at an event, you've got a camera in your hand.
Yeah.
You're not standing around shooting the shit. I mean, you do shoot the shit, but not without a camera in your hand. You're definitely on point. No, we did not.
All right, I hide that.
So, if you had to give a woman your age some advice who hasn't been riding,
Which is
or has-
35.
yeah, 21. What advice would you give them if they're interested in riding? If you could only give them one key piece of advice, it could be a riding lesson, it could be gear, it could be whatever you think.
Just go do it. Like I don't even know. Figure it out and just do it. Like,
Look at Heather and say that. Figure it out and just do it. I know, I'm teasing.
Yeah, I mean, and it's scary. It is scary.
It's fucking scary.
It shocks me how afraid I am. It really does.
And I look at that kind of sometimes in 2 days. Like, you are an amazing woman, and like, you have confidence. And I know sometimes you second guess that, and that's what your problem is right now. But I also sometimes look at it as, if you're too afraid,
you will injure yourself because
Right, yeah.
because you're not paying attention to the
and
right
that's
things.
Where, and that's where we've talked
And
about
that's
the
where
trike.
exactly.
Start with the trike. And
Exactly.
You know, and go there. And don't be afraid. And it's not, a trike isn't stupid.
You drive a goddamn car,
Oh,
Yeah. I mean,
and
you
you're
can drive a
perfectly
stick.
great at driving a car.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Knock
drove
on wood.
you drove
I've
big
never
four-wheel
been
drives.
in an accident.
Ever.
Ever.
You did all the four-wheeling.
Oh, yeah.
And you did the snowmobiles.
Yeah.
And
Yep.
you
But
grew up
it's
with
like the
all
whole
that.
coordination, like the clutch, brake. Remember to put your feet down, like.
Well, that would
Remember to
definitely
pick
take
your feet
one
up.
thing. I love you. I'm dragging your toes. Well,
I did pick my feet up.
and today when we were riding the bikes, she did exactly what I did when I started to learn. You fight the fucking bike, right? You're
Yeah.
trying to move
Yeah.
your feet let the bike do the work. The bike
Yeah.
is designed to go in the
Part
like
of
it
too is
goes
I
where you
wonder
look.
if I have like too much of a. I feel like I'm not. Even though I'm in control, I feel like I'm
Not.
not in control.
Absolutely.
At some point, though, you just,
Yeah.
you let
And
that go. Like, I still get nervous when I
Like
know I'm going
I
on a big
see
ride.
you when
Yeah.
I see you and I see all my.
I got
friends.
butterflies right now
I
knowing
see-
that I got to lead this ride today.
Yeah.
Because you're responsible for a lot of people, and what if I do something stupid? You know.
And it's crazy because like literally lately I find myself literally dreaming that I'm riding a motorcycle. I'm dreaming about riding a motorcycle. And then I see, like I said, I see you and I see you and I see so many women. I'm like, that's so badass. I want to be that badass. But
You
then I'm like,
are
I'm not that badass.
Yes, you are.
You are.
You
Like, and
Oh.
and again, and some of my confidence too came with what we touched on earlier with riding with the club. Because my jobs for most of my adult life have always been, I am a woman in a man's world.
Very much so.
I hauled heavy equipment. I drove a dump truck. I've worked at the dealerships, for the semis. the big
Right.
trucks. And so I'm not one of those women that sit back and like treat me different because I'm a girl.
Right.
Amen.
I don't want to fuck this up because I'm a girl, and I don't want you to think less of me because I'm a girl. So I try harder. So when I would ride with the club, obviously, like, you're not a member, you ride in the back of the pack, but you gotta keep up. Like, my first trip to Sturgis, I rode out with the club because my husband at the time, he couldn't go, and I was going out to work for Michael, and the club, they had to go out that week before, and he's like, maybe they'll let you ride out with them. He's, I'm really nervous about you riding out by yourself. So I said, hey, can I follow you guys out? And they're like, yeah. And so, and I knew the rules of, I knew my place.
Right.
And so I was just like, okay, like, I was the first one ready. I had my bike, I was sitting on my bike, ready to go while they're still getting,
Yeah, you weren't putting your gloves on while everybody's waiting
Right.
for you.
No, I was right. And I'm still that way today. Like, I'll be riding with some guys, and I'm just like,
You're like, hey, come on, let's
quit
go.
brushing your hair.
I can tell you, there are
let's
some
go.
men that we've ridden with that I'm like, for Christ's sake, can we just leave? Like, let's
Right.
go.
It's like,
Your
yeah,
hair
talk about
looks
waiting
fine.
on us,
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
come on. But I think that too, like, helped my confidence in riding because always was, like, I'm not gonna, these men are not gonna take me from the top. Like,
Right.
That's pretty much how I felt.
Yeah.
Like, you know, and that's how I drove my dump truck. That's, you know, like, the first day on my dump truck, I cried and cried. Like, it's funny, and I know this has nothing to do with motorcycles, but it's like a confidence story. So, we bought a new dump truck on Saturday. On Sunday, I got taken out into the country and learned how to drive it. And on Monday, I went to work with it. No CDL,
Oh my Jesus.
like, literally. And the first job I get put on, you have to back spread. It's a railroad relocation program. And you have to back spread on this tarp paper. So,
I'm all nervous for you.
so I
Big
get out
swallow.
there, and I'm like, I don't know how to spread stone, but okay. So I lift up my bed, and like I put it in gear, and I start to roll, and I open the gate, it all comes out, and
Whoop.
it didn't spring. So about like the third one, the dude on the loader, he's getting pissed, and I'm just like, I'm like, okay, I can't do this. Like, I called my husband and I'm like crying. Like, I can't do this, I'm gonna call the dispatcher and tell her to have a different job. I said, these guys are getting mad and I can't do it. I go get the next load, and our other driver was in the truck, and he dumped ahead of me, and he pulled off to the side. He's like, hey, go, channel whatever on the CD, and he's like, all right. He's like, stop, now, lift your bed, now stop, right there. He's like, no. Put it in gear, I'll start rolling. Now open your gate. Now, push the button on your bed. And he walked
You through the whole process.
And I was like, oh. And by the end of the summer, I was the best stone spreader. I am not even kidding. I was getting kept on jobs where they were doing final grade, where I had to be an inch here and 3 inches there, and like, I
Put your mind to it and you did it.
Badass.
Like, it
Right?
was like, I'm a girl, that I don't want you to treat me different because I'm a girl.
Amen to that. So that's kind of the whole premise of today's ride. We talked a little bit about the Lunch Ladies ride earlier. I'm so excited that you get to do it with us.
so excited.
And this is the first one ever, so it's super
I
cool.
know.
But it's not, while we call it the Lunch Ladies ride, it's not lady specific. Now the ladies will be in front.
Yes.
I'll be damned. But
Everybody is always
everybody's welcome. Yeah.
Go girls.
So, and unfortunately, I don't want to wrap this up, but we have to. But I have a couple quick questions for
Yes.
you. Your favorite ride ever, and your bucket list ride.
Okay, so my favorite ride ever has to be the 2021 Cannonball. I rode a brand new BMW R18 Bagger, which was very intimidating at first. And it went from Sault Ste. Marie, Michigan to South Padre Island, Texas,
Wow.
via Myrtle Beach.
Down and over.
Yes.
Or down and up. Yeah.
It was over 38
That was like,
miles.
Triangle.
yeah, you went all the way east to go all the way
Yeah, we went all
west.
the
I
east
love
and
it.
then to Arkansas and then down. And that was the most amazing journey of my life.
Now, were
Because of
you
the
were you
bike or the roads?
All the above.
All the
The
above.
camaraderie, the riding, like just the whole experience.
well, that group of people that put that on, talk about camaraderie. Like,
Oh, yeah.
yes.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it's competitive.
It's competitive, but
but
it's
they are,
camaraderie.
yes, it's a family for
And,
sure.
So that was definitely my favorite ride.
Nice.
My bucket list ride would definitely be to do one of the hot rides.
Oh, motorcycle Sherpa.
Yeah. That would definitely, and I don't know which one.
My
Any of
bucket
them.
list ride is just to ride.
To ride, to learn, to do it.
That will
I don't
change.
care if it's to the grocery store at this point.
Yeah.
Oh, right on. So cool, so cool.
It is so cool.
What else? You got any more?
No, are you ready to ride today?
I am so ready to ride.
I'm really looking forward today. The sun came out.
I know.
There's no more rain.
So happy.
Yes, and thanks for taking your time and talking with us. I know there's a million more things we
And
can
we're
talk
gonna
about.
do this again. This is just,
Yes.
just round one. Like I said, this is episode 3, so
Yeah.
we kind of really don't have our shit together.
No, we're still working on it.
But we're so thankful that you came and did this with
I'm
us.
so happy to see you invited me.
Of course, you're a badass. Like, I know you don't always think so, and I know that, like a lot of people, I'm not always good at telling you that or how much I admire what
Well,
you
because
do.
you're close, and that tends
Right.
to not
But
be
sometimes
said.
just saying like, you are a badass. Like what you do for yourself to make sure that you're taken care of, and you ride your motorcycle and you work on trucks. Like I called her one day. I'm like, what do you? She's like, I'm changing my oil. I'm like,
Love that.
love it.
You're
Like, and
independent.
she does
You-
her own
you-
shit,
yeah.
which is great.
Yeah.
And that's what I think
I
a
like
lot
to
of
pay
us.
people to do it too, just because I don't want to do it. But
Same.
but I can't
But
do it.
sometimes-
Right?
I do
Right.
have to do it.
Right.
Sometimes, like, it's good to have to do it,
It is.
you know? Like when you need fuel in your tank.
Fuck me.
I need gas too.
Got dang carbureted bikes.
Damn it. But anyway, thank you so
Thank
much
you.
for being a part of this.
Thank you
and
guys.
Go girls.
I'm so excited for you guys in this endeavor.
thank you. Well, you're going to be a bigger part of it moving
Absolutely.
forward as soon as we figure out what the hell we're doing. But anyway, MotoWomen 24/7 coming to you live from the Tennessee Motorcycle and Music Revival 2024. It's actually not live, it's recorded, but that's where
Whatever.
we are right
We're
now.
live right
It's
now.
live right now.
We're live.
It's live recorded.
So you can find us on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, iTunes, iHeartRadio.
I don't know.
like,
She's in charge
all
of
the
all that shit.
places.
I just show
all
up.
the places
places.
you can watch it or listen to it. Get out, ride, wrench, do something with your motorcycle.
And if there's something you would like us to cover or someone you think would be great to interview that you're interested
Yeah,
in,
let us
reach
know.
out to us. Reach out to us by email or via social media. We'd love that.
Yep. We'll see you on your bike.
Oh, and the funny thing is, the other day, sorry, this is a side note.
That's okay.
People always say ride safe. Ride safe. Okay, first of all, yes. But I'm going to say ride reckless and have a fucking great time. That's what you should say to your
Amen.
friends when they go.
Have fun.
Ride reckless and have fun.
Have fun. Make good choices.
Ride your ride.
Ride your ride.
Ride your
yes,
ride.
yes.
Whether it be slow, fast, hard, off-road, on-road, whatever.
Just do it.
Just,
Yep.
I'm going to say something from Jannine's book. You do you, boo.
Yeah, you do you, boo boo.